Hey there, good evening. Nice to see you. It's time for the Bronx Buzz. And we've got a really cool show for you today and tonight, depending on when you're watching us. And in fact, we have a new time starting March 1st, and that'll be Fridays at 6:30 p.m. So check that out. Anyway, what I was saying about the really cool show, we've got two wonderful arts segments this evening. And so let's get right to it. We have two guys from the Black Photographers Collective. The founder is Howard Cash. Nice to see you, Howard.
I'm wonderful.
Great. Nice to have you with us. Rudy Collins is the president. Rudy, my man, how are you?
Great. Having a good day.
Oh, that's beautiful. Gentlemen, let's start with you, Howard, since you're the founder of the Black Photographers Collective. How and when and where did we get started? And of course, the big question is, why did we get started? Why did we put a collective together?
Well, the Bronx basically is a wonderful place where we as artists thrive, hip hop. And so therefore, I was lucky to find and meet some wonderful photographers who also wanted to get together, show work, and expand their world. So that's how that came about. And it happened at about I guess it was 2020. We were formally registered. But our first bash official event was in 2019.
What characterizes the concept, the conceptual? Do you is it specifically because the photographers are Black, or do you think there's a vision that gets communicated through the collective that doesn't come out in other ways?
But we deal with community, and we know that in our community, there's a very important for having folks, especially that look like us, to be able to relate to the kids and to be able to relate to adults and be able to discuss themes that are not normally discussed in the community. So that's basically touch upon things that mainstream media may not talk about.
Rudy, for you, what's it been like being part of the Black Photographers Collective? Are you very active? Do you take a lot of photos? Just give us a little of that background, if you would.
Yeah, it's been great being a member of the group and having a good group of photographers who know what they're doing and care about their work. I've been active doing a lot of the events, and I'm still putting up a website on Shopify. I'm always like a work in progress, always trying to do that next shot that's going to catch everybody's attention. It's been great working with Howard. He's a professor extraordinaire. I have much respect for him. He's a great leader, and we hope this exhibit will be the beginning of spreading photography and art in some cases where the photography is now art, where we can spread it to people in the community. And one of our main focuses is to get the children in the community interested in photography and recording things around them.
Do you shoot with like a 35 millimeter camera and like an old fashioned camera, or do you pick up your cell phone like everybody else?
Well, I use two cameras. I have an updated Sony mirrorless, and I also use an old Nikon D3, which is a workhorse.
And how do you know when you choose which? Like when you do you go out and shoot specifically, or do you always have it with you, and then when something happens?
No, I don't always carry it with me. When I'm on an event, doing a job, a wedding, a special event, I'll use both cameras because I'll have a telephoto lens on one of them, so I can get good candid shots without interfering with the ceremony and things like that.
Howard, same question for you. What equipment do you use? I mean, I've talked to a number of photographers on this program and elsewhere, and everybody's using different stuff, of course, because cell phones are now, available, and everybody's got one of these. But you can also get pretty good pictures if you do it the old-fashioned way.
Well, cameras are tools. I mean, that's basically it. Old-fashioned way would be film, and I basically am a film photographer.
And you still shooting film?
But I have used my my cell phone for one or two shots. or to
Wow.
record, or if I go somewhere. But I don't really shoot that much anymore. I do more writing. I have like a body of work of about 50 years, so I really don't shoot that much anymore.
Right.
I've covered a lot of subjects. So right now I'm just doing more retrospective writing and describing,
You
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
got it. You can't stop creating. Listen, we want to promote the Bronx Art Space. The show is called in celebration of Black History Month. Bronx Art Space presents a photographer's state of mind by the Black Photographers Collective. Howard, let's start with some of your photos. Let's just show people what they're going to see. That show, by the way, opened up this past weekend, and now it will be available all the way till March 15th. But let's take a look at a couple of Howard's photos and enjoy them. There you go, Howard. Do tell. What is it?
Fela Kuti, I photographed him in 19. I photographed him twice. I photographed him in 82 in Nigeria, and I photographed him. This is when I photographed him in 89 in what was it? It was a club in Manhattan. And at the time I was using slow motion technique. This is called Stepping into Heaven, Fela Nicolapo Kuti. And if you don't know who Fela was, you need to do some research.
Well, that's what we're here for, and that's what you're here to educate about. Let's do the next one. Let's roll them.
That's called Jubilation. I shot that in 83 in Nigeria. Now, this was the beginning, because what I showed was a body of work of slow-mo, of dance. But if you look at it, she's pretty sharp. But the gentleman to the left behind is in motion. And there's a kid to the far right that's in motion. And then somebody standing back that's blurry and slightly in motion. So that's when I began to think about, I wanted to shoot more work in slow motion.
Well, she's almost like the exclamation point in the photograph.
Correct.
There you go. Go ahead, Anderson. Let's get another. We want to keep moving.
Oh,
I love this picture.
Yeah, that's the Bronx. That's Orchard Beach.
That is Orchard Beach, all right.
Orchard Beach, it pays tribute to the Africans in the diaspora, and it pays tribute to Africans abroad with what they call Roombas.
Yeah.
They have Roombas where people come together and they dance. They do it in Brooklyn. They do it in Harlem. They do it also in Washington Heights.
They do it everywhere. Let's be real. In urban places, maybe we ought to make that distinction.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of Rudy's work, and I'm doing this because we want people to get excited about the show that's coming up. So, Rudy, or Anderson, who's our producer, let's see what this photograph is just unbelievable. So, what do we got here,
Rudy? 2 years ago, I photographed the Harlem Little League for their season, and I always wanted one of my fantasies was to catch that sliding in the home play.
There you go.
And I was with it. Yeah, and matter of fact, I was using the Nikon 70-200 telephoto lens. I was out in the outfield, and I just when this play was developing, I just kept it zoomed in at the plate, and I caught it. And that's the good thing about photography. You got to catch that moment, and because in an instant, it's gone.
Well, that one would certainly be gone. And that would be great in the modern day baseball, because in the instant replay, you could see that he definitely, as long as he held on to the ball, he got him out. Let's take a look at it. It's a tremendous photo. Now, this I recognize. I happen to be a Met fan, so I recognized Ahmed Rosario, but he missed the pitch. Right? Did you want to?
I used I have. Yeah, I have the NYPD press pass, and I was able with that press pass to get down to the dugout and the field level, and I just kept the camera trained on him. When I took this picture, I had in mind to combine it with the picture of the Little League to show there could be an aspiration to go from the Little Leagues, and here's the big leagues right here. It's a great shot. As you can see, it was a strike. He missed the ball. It's one of my favorite shots.
Well, maybe that's why they eventually got rid of him and sent him to other teams. Anyway, let's see what else you got. Oh, now this was interesting to me. This just was a Bronx scene.
No, this is a Harlem
No?
brownstone.
Harlem
Yeah,
brownstone.
I have yeah, this is a technique that I use to change it from a photograph into a work of art. And I have a book out called Harlem Today. It's available on Blurb. You can go to my website, rudycollinsphotography.com, and review it or purchase it off of that site. And this was mostly a photo showing of the Harlem brownstones.
Well, the spatial organization of it is just beautiful. It is compelling, and of course, the rich colors sell the story,
Yeah,
so to speak. I think we got one more, and let's show that one. This one, this is obviously a mirror image, but there's a guy sneering in the front. And it's pretty. It's a pretty cool photo.
yeah, yeah. This is an unintentional success. This was taken around the time I met Howard Cash when we used to meet at Creole, Howard.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a jazz club, and they had an open mic every Tuesday from 10 to 2 a.m. in the morning. And I met this trumpet player, and I took a few shots of him, and I brought the photo home, and I was just with different things, and I accidentally created this, and I said, "Wow!" I like
Wow.
Eureka, like I discovered the light bulb or something. And that's one of my favorite shots, also.
Listen, guys, the opening reception already happened. The artist talk is Saturday, March 1st from 4 to 6 p.m. The closing reception is Saturday, March 15th, 2 to 6 p.m. And the Bronx Art Space on 700 Menida Street. Everybody get out there. Gentlemen, maybe just a quick sentence from each of you. Why is it so uplifting to see all this work together? Howard, we'll start with you, and then I'll ask Rudy the same question.
Well, also, too, I want to let people know that we also have a curriculum. So for kids who want to learn photography, so they could get in touch with us on IG. And we'll, if you have a community center or an after-school program, you have a budget, we would love to come and teach your children photography
and work on it. Listen, what you're doing is so important. Rudy, just a final word from you. The work from both of you and the others is fantastic.
You're breaking up, but I'll just say that I look forward to continuing with the group and spreading the craft of photography around.
Great, beautiful. Right on time for Black History Month. A Photographer's State of Mind by the Black Photographers Collective. Howard Cash and Rudy Collins, both of you, thank you so much for everything you do, especially working with our young people at the Bronx to develop the BX. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, folks, and then when we come back, wait till you see this film that we're going to be showing you right after this. And thanks, guys, and we'll be right back. Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled always when we get to promote something very important, but particularly thrilled when it is a friend of mine, and it is Dr. Penny Prince from Lehman College. When I asked her, do you want me to call you doctor or professor? She said, just call me Penny. Yes. So Penny, so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure. I love to see you.
Let's talk a little bit about now all the other things you do. You're right, musicals. You work with students and everything else. But you are part of, and maybe even the person who created the Reentry Committee at Lehman College. What is
Yes.
that?
Okay. Yes, I'm a professor of music at Lehman, but I always have felt that part of being a professor is to be a concerned and responsible citizen. And one thing that's been very important in my life is to make sure that people who are formerly incarcerated are given a fair chance when they get out of prison. So it was,
Let me just interject there,
yes,
because the issue is, and people have many problems, and they've caused, in some cases, some really difficult things. But
yes,
if they come out, it would be nice if they
yes.
were better people and their lives were changed, and all of our lives changed as a result.
Exactly. Because the important thing to remember is that we are not just the worst thing that we did. People are made up of their whole lives, everything they've done. And if someone has, considered what they've done and have decided to change their lives, and they should be given the chance to become members of society again. So at Lehman, we have always had people enroll who were formerly incarcerated, or not just formerly incarcerated, but they had a family member who was justice impacted. It could be a brother, a son, a sister. And yet they have been afraid to identify as such when they come to Lehman because of the stigma attached.
Of course,
So, right. So in 2018, I stood up in Senate. I'm also a senator at Lehman, and
the
I
Lehman
said,
Senate. Yeah.
I said just what I'm saying to you, that I think people should get another chance, and we should be an educated, informed, and welcoming community for people who are justice impacted.
And so then what do? You work on counseling with them. Now, let me just add one thing that the people watching don't know. You create musicals,
Right.
and you told me this story that you went into a school. I'm gonna recount this story for you.
Okay,
You
good.
went into a school. There was a bullying problem and misbehavior problem, and kids not treating each other well, and you had them create a play, a musical about that sort of thing, and then the culture of the school literally was changed.
Yes, yes, definitely. That's
I
true.
remembered.
And then you remembered, and that's one of the things I'm happiest about in
Right.
what I do. So when I made that announcement, by the time I got home, I had 25 calls from faculty and staff saying they want to be part of this effort.
Wow.
It was great. And now we have over 50 people. And these are administrators, students, faculty, staff, and some community members who are all part of our Reentry at Lehman. That's the name of the committee.
Reentry at Lehman. And as a result, I'm going to make the assumption that you have changed people's lives.
Well,
And
I
you don't
yeah.
want to take credit for it, but at least
Right.
it gives them the perspective they can be somebody. And this is, of course, the great value of education.
Right. Well, they've already made that decision by going to school, and many of them have started their degrees while in prison. But the great thing is that every once in a while, like maybe once a month, I get a letter from somebody saying, "Can you help my son? He's getting out next month." Or, how can Lehman help? And I'm not the one who helps him, but all these 50 people on the
That's right.
committee,
Well,
they all
and
help.
the Lehman community. I will tell you, I will share with you, which I believe the last time we were together, I did share with you. I taught a music class through Mercy College, at then
Wow.
Mercy College, now Mercy University, at Sing Sing.
Great.
And I recall a classroom of people in their prison garb sitting there, and I played a record by Curtis Mayfield, an old blues record called "It's
Wow.
All Right." And I remember seeing some of them almost leave their bodies with joy and peace. And then later on, a year later, I saw one of them in the hallway at the college. And I said, "Whoa, how are you?" And he goes like this, "Don't tell." Because he
You
didn't.
see?
He wanted to
Right.
move on. Anyway, so
That's great.
the reason we're bringing this up is there is a movie screening called Sing Sing,
Yes.
appropriately, which is going to be in the music building at Lehman College. There it is, 5 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, February 25th. You have shared with us and with me, and we're going to share it with our audience, a trailer for this thing. This, I don't want to use bad Bronx language, but this is freaking compelling. I am telling you, this is really wonderful. So is there something you want to say before we show this clip?
Yeah, I'll say that a few years ago, before this movie was even made, we actually invited people from the Rehabilitation Through the Arts. They're the ones behind this whole Sing Sing movie. And they came to Lehman. We showed a short film that they had made, and then we had a panel discussion. And it's such a great group, RTA. They go into the prison with a couple of teachers, drama teachers, and they actually involve the prisoners in making a production.
And the production I want to just move it ahead so we don't run out of time.
Yes.
And the production, much like when you were in that grade school, in that school, I don't know if it was grade school, but it helps to start a new kind.
Right. And the production that they do are often full-length plays. You know, they even do Shakespeare, they do whatever. So this movie is actually, it's winning all kinds of awards. Coleman Domingo, who's one of the stars, is up for an Academy Award. But it's all based on those experiences with RTA. And we're going to have, I just want to say one more thing. After the movie, we're going to have a panel discussion with someone from the movie and a couple of other formerly incarcerated people.
Wow. This is what a great college is all about. Thank you to our friends at Lehman.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sing Sing.
To die, to sleep, to dream.
This is a clemency hearing for your conviction, 25 to life. Since you've been in custody, you've been involved in a theater program.
Gentlemen, let's go.
It's been a program that was established to help people get more in touch with their feelings and truly get some rehabilitation.
I am Gladiator Goliath. I am Spartacus.
I'm Prince Hamlet of Denmark.
And it's turned into something of, I don't know, wonderful.
What part do you play?
From time to time I do act, like we all do.
So are you acting at all during this interview?
We here to become human again and enjoy the things that is not in our reality.
I think you guys are becoming real with each other, vulnerable.
Listen, I already know what you're doing, know who you are, what you about, bro.
What?
You don't get to tell me what I need in prison. You don't get to do that. And don't bring me in those dark corners no more.
The world expects brothers like you and I to walk in with our heads held down. Nah, what you gotta walk in like a king. Everything is yours.
I'm divine now.
Yeah.
This is my theater.
Now give him some love, give him some love.
Go to your most perfect spot. Do you hear anything? Are you with somebody? Are you outside? Hold that feeling.
You gotta admit that I murdered that Hamlet, bro. Shakespeare is in his grave right now. He rolled over.
You did your thing, beloved.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
great. Even the trailer is moving.
It really is. There are moments when he said, "I'm Hamlet." Oh my goodness. There's just so much in there, and it really underscores the human condition, so to speak. And of course, ironically named Sing Sing. You know, they used to say, "We'll send you up the river," and that's where they would send you. Do you guys meet regularly? Just going back to the reentry program at Lehman, how does it work?
Yeah, we try to meet once a month. Before COVID, we did it in person. Nowadays, some people come in person and some do it on Zoom. And and we've done various things. For example, we were part of a book drive that a friend of mine is coordinating at Rikers Island. Before COVID, there was a library for the prisoners, but during COVID and now there is no library. So a friend of mine, Corey Rowe, who's a professor at LaGuardia, she started this thing with little libraries on each cell unit. So we've donated about 30 boxes of books to them.
Wow. Hey,
And
that brings up something in my mind. We're getting rid of some books. Is that part of the donation?
well, I'll take
thing?
any. They only want soft covered books,
Soft covered. Well,
and
that
I'll
would
take them. I'll come with my car and pick them up.
Oh no, we'll work that out.
Okay.
That is fascinating, and I'm having been incarcerated, trying to get into the head of somebody coming out, and I was thinking of freshmen who come into college anyway. They don't know who to talk to. You need to work with them to get them acclimated and everything
Yes.
else. And with men and women who come out of prison, that challenge is 50-fold because they haven't even been out in the streets.
Exactly.
And if they're coming to college, this is what I learned when I was teaching at Sing Sing at that time. That means they really want to learn. They really want to do something for themselves. So that's almost like the first requirement to get involved and realize that there's an opportunity.
Definitely the motivation. Yes.
The motivation. Okay. So Tuesday, February 25th, from 5 to 8 p.m. at Lehman's beautiful music building in the East Dining Room, free admission. You're going to be able to see the whole film and also
Food.
there'll be some free food, but also have the talk right afterwards. I think it's wonderful. I was doing we don't have enough time for this. I was doing a news story. I was working at one of the networks, and I went up to a prison. We took the bus ride with the families, and you wouldn't believe how many families there were who
Wow.
got on the bus. These are real people with real families and real hopes that
Yes.
one day. And Penny, anything else you want to mention?
No, I just want to say you're doing a very important service for the Bronx, Gary. Well, I watch your
Okay.
shows whenever I can, and
Thank you so much.
your podcast.
You don't do
Thank
it
you.
alone. You don't do it alone.
Right.
Anderson, Peguero, and
Thank
Rebecca
you,
is my other
Anderson.
producer, and Michael and the people at BronxNet. She is a doctor. She is a professor, but she is Penny Prince. Thank you so much for bringing us this wonderful experience, and everybody come on out next Tuesday to see the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay. One thing to mention to our viewers, March 1st, the program will be moving to Fridays at 6:30. But right now we're still Thursdays at 6 o'clock. Anyway, that's all for the Bronx Buzz. We'll see you next time. And you know what we always say, if the creek don't rise and the curtain don't fall, we'll be back next week. Good night.